I just want to have a brief reaction regarding the state of affairs. I woke up this afternoon. And I'm thinking about a lot of issues that's been happening just recently, not talking about the entire time of the administration of Barrow, but immediately thinking about this time of Tobaski. And why is, I saw a press release about the farmers not being paid for their produce, for their groundnuts, which they have submitted 5 months ago, just 5 months ago. But before coming there, it's not only about farmers as it is. This is systematic right now. That's why I want to address it. It's not an isolated incident. And I want to do a brief reaction, and inshallah, I'll do an extensive program on this. It's the poverty and corruption, the systematic poverty now we have in our country, and the corruption, the failure of accountability. These are the three things I want to address here by referencing events that are not isolated again. But the pain in this is our people who are suffering. And we are failing as a nation to stop the suffering. And things are not going to get better. Things are not going to get better with this administration being in place. Regardless of what we think, if we really care, the first thing is to work to replace this administration with a capable people. We cannot be intervening temporarily, doing a GoFundMe, and GoFundMe even now we can see is technically, the donor fatigue. But we cannot be as few Gambians within the population to take care of all the social needs when we have government that is making them, becoming millionaires, civil servants becoming millionaires overnight, and at the same time creating enabling slave mentality of middlemen. And this slave mentality is the likes of Dr. Cisse, the likes of Sabali, the likes of all those people running around knowing that they are lying to the people. They know the conditions of the people. They should be aware of all this, because if they have the slave mentality, they will keep on supporting this government. They will keep on advocating for this government. I'm just speaking, I'm saying all those people doing it. And even those present on social media here, pretending to hate another party, pretending to hate another tribe because of they just want to divide us, or they are just supporting Barrow because of the crumbs they are giving. They all have the slave mentality. This is stopping us from holding this government accountable, or being effective in holding this government accountable. Many people are trying, but it's not effective due to what? This division that the government sells, and they have agents to sell it. Because there's no honest Gambian. There's no honest Gambian that will tell you that the state of affairs are idle. Whoever says that, they are benefiting from the suffering of our people. They are benefiting from the suffering of our people. We can see the level of corruption and the level of poverty and the failure of accountability. But we need to organize, and that goes for citizens, civil society, that goes for politicians as political leaders, especially opposition. We need to organize in order to deal with this issue. We cannot come out, demonstrate for a day, and go and start, deliberating on other issues. And so, no, we really need to organize and see this through and to the end of it. We should not just be reacting, going out to, no. We don't expect the opposition just to keep on reacting on press releases or statements on some certain platforms and go back and sit down. No. We really need to dedicate ourselves and do more. And organize as concerned citizens. Yes, we might belong to a different political party, but what I mean by concerned citizens is the concern of our people. It's not about our political interests alone. Yes, political interests will come into it. As concerned citizens, not as civil society that are only looking for activities so that they can make earning from it. But concerned citizens who are dedicated to erase this systematic poverty, to erase this systematic corruption. And that cannot be done by leaving this government in place. To make sure we are a country that is always, moving forward with accountability. That have to be. I thought about this morning that we have to stand up for this. If we care for our people. The continued exploitation of our people. You can see how systematic it is. If I just go onto a few points here. How systematic it is, how many millionaires millionaires you have seen since the Barrow came into power. Yes, in the time of Jammeh, we had few. Jammeh was a billionaire and few, cutting and diving here. But now almost anybody that's close to Barrow would easily turn into be millionaires. The entire Barrow family are now a family of millionaires within 8 years. Within 4 years, in fact. 4 years on power, they already transformed themselves. Nephews, sisters, brothers, and in this, the poverty have worsened for Gambians. Poverty have worsened for Gambians. You don't think that's a system? And I'm talking about not only them, the ministers, the business people, the patrons, and everybody else. Some of these people that have failed that were in the diaspora here could not even maintain a decent life where possibilities, there are so many possibilities in the diaspora here. But today they run down there and now they are being treated as very important people, but the only reason they are treated like that because they are carrying the slave mentality going to our people, dividing them based on tribe, lying to them and doing everything divisive for them to afford to live in good apartments, for them to afford to eat properly, for them to afford to take their children to schools and others. When they look back to our people and seeing how much suffering is in that country. But they don't care. With all the security risks that comes with it. Because this would not continue. Those of us advocating for change are the people that really have love for that country. Because this is not going to continue. It's not going to end well. If any government thinks they can manipulate the people, they can bring on systems or whatever it is to stay in power, they cannot stay in power forever. We have seen this story before. You think Liberia went into civil war because of tribalism? No, absolutely not. It's because of corruption. You think Sierra Leone went to war because of this? You think, all the countries in civil war, Ivory Coast and others went to war because of, they hate each other by tribe? No. It's because of their political forces which were controlling, trying to maintain something that cannot be maintained. This is the cause of it. Now people have transformed themselves to be middlemen. You leave your source, the opportunities that you have here in the diaspora. Because of your laziness, your lack of talent, your lack of integrity, you cannot even live a viable life in the diaspora. You have to run and join looters and people that will subjugate our people into this level of poverty. We have people that would come out to say that they have their masters, they have whatever they have. But the only thing they can do is to join a gang of criminals to make our people suffer. What education is that? Unknowingly, there's no gray area in what is happening in the Gambia. It's blatantly there. But as I said, we don't have time for all, to go extensive on that, but we'll discuss that later. Let's take example of the farmers. Let's take example of the farmers. Because that's the thing that really woke me up this afternoon. I had 2 more hours to sleep. But for one reason I woke up, because since yesterday I wanted to say something about it, but because there's so much going on, we at times trying to insulate ourselves, try to distract ourselves a bit for our mental health. But when I woke up 2 hours, I was in bed. I said, I have to address this, at least so that I can move on a bit. Can we imagine that our farmers and the company with the long name Gambia Food Security nonsense, and I let you guys know that company is led by someone incompetent. It's led by someone related to Barrow. It's led by Mohamed Njai, who is a son to Musa Njai, late Musa Njai. Late Musa Njai, who was a guardian to Barrow. That Mohamed Njai is the brother of the ambassador to Nigeria, the one that wanted to become a politician because of Barrow. Papa Njai. Go and look at the property so far he bought, and let nobody come out here, just as in the case of Batambiru. When I started with Bar, saying, oh, he came from a family that is rich. Nonsense. We Gambia, if you don't understand what wealth is, some of us do. Let nobody come and tell me. If today there was a forensic investigation or audit on that Mohamed Njai, and look at the properties he acquired since Barrow appointed him 7 years ago, you will realize the good level of corruption. He bought a property in Fajara. Fajara, he bought, not inherited, about a year ago. He built the property within 6 months. He bought the property. We all know the properties in Fajara are in millions. And he built it in 6 months. Where do you think that money is coming from? I don't want to go into family issues, but just to point out that if anybody thinking, because that's what they try to sell, that's crap. If any accountability happens in the country, all these people will be sent to prison because of the level of corruption. Now, imagine those people coming out, trying to debunk statements that people have made, politicians have made, farmers are making. Farmers' audios are going around at this time of the year. After 5 months, I'm just saying 5 months because what I can remember is December is selling time. I'm a son of a farmer. I'm a son of a businessman. My parents traded during throughout actually, but mainly during the Tereto. And they farmed during the rainy season. I remember going to Bondali in December. And it was like a carnival. It was like a carnival, the period of farmers selling their goods and buying bicycles, buying clothes, celebrating, because that's the only income they have for a year. Imagine working for one income to be paid in a lump sum for the year. And after working for a whole year, you still owed that money. You have not been paid a penny for over 5 months, and in 2 months' time or a month time, you are supposed to go back to that farm to toll. How are we developing agriculture? How are we developing agriculture? That's why I say it's systematic corruption. The government know about it. And for them to come out with the audacity to say, no, it's only some farmers who are not paid. How come some farmers? And it's a lie. Give us the figures. Tell us how many farmers are not paid. Are these farmers going to be paid with interest? Because if you hold my money for 5 months as a business transaction, you owe me interest. Because these farmers now, stuff they should have bought, probably some of these people probably, they will have to access credit. And some of the credit still, We have loan sharks within our community that would ask for interest. We have loan sharks in our community that would ask for interest. November, every November, and I think twice a year, the president so-called meet the farmer store. What's the point of that? Because we know, we hear the messages, it's all a divisive talk. It's all a political talk, but have never done anything policy-wise, implement anything that would salvage the conditions of our people, that would develop anything in that country. Because every project that comes would end up, not be sustainable because of corruption. Can you imagine now, after 1 year, walking the rainy season, from June to December, literally that's how much it takes to sell. If you, plant your groundnut, because there's groundnut they sold. They took it on credit. As I said, it's systematic. They went and introduced a system without even preparing the farmers. That most of them are not educated to understand tech, or some educated people even take time to understand tech. Started to say, use a medium owned by Mohammed Dia, a patron of Barra, in their corruption, to be paid their money. I'm not saying that we should not be advanced or be cashless and everything else, but two things. We have to find a way to do it so that our people will not suffer in the course of it, or to minimize the disruption or suffering of our people. Two, we have to make sure it's equitable. Why one entity is given a monopoly? A monopoly. We have so much farming. We have so many fintechs in the Gambia now. We have so many fintechs in the Gambia now who could have done this. They could have launched 5 fintechs, give them the projects to this thing. They can even do it by division. And then competition will be created. We have the UNAS, we have the Supersonics, we have so many others. The administrative, this report, no. They would create a monopoly for their patron so that the NPP will have money to continue to enslave the people. And this is how those people from the diaspora, those so-called educated people around Barrow, that's how they survive, because of these corruptions. That's how they get their kickbacks. That's how they build their offices. That's how they buy their vehicles. That's how they buy votes and everything, fuel and everything else. Apart from even dipping in our coffers. That's not enough. They will dip into our coffers. Now, these farmers have to suffer. Imagine the events. Because when farmers make money, it's for their basic needs. Our farmers are not wealthy. They don't save the money. They don't save the money to accumulate wealth. No, they have not. They don't even think about that. It's about their basics. Basics. I have a friend who is, a few years ago, we had this discussion because he was having a problem with his parents, asking them not to go to the farm. There's no point. I'm taking care of you. This is just, you guys are just suffering. Now it's enough. You have done, we are taking care of you, because not only him. All the siblings in the diaspora, we are putting money, they have built the house, they have put everything in Morton Cons at the village. The parents would not need to go out, but it's an activity they have been used to. They want to go and do that. It's their independence. But I know where the children were coming from. It's because of this suffering. After all these years, these people, the day-to-day needs, food and other things, they are not providing that to their family. Or if they provide that, they have to go and lower their dignity to go and ask for credit in the local communities. And some, not all, are loan sharks. They'll give them money and they will expect interest to be paid. And for the government holding their money for this long, they are not going to be paid interest. These are the things we should fight for. That's why I said we should organize. Now, look at the events. Schools have opened. We all know school education is not free. If anybody said education is not free, then you don't understand the expense that goes into education. It's not that you are paying tuition or not. Even the primary school, if you don't pay tuition or not, there's cost that comes with education. Uniforms and order, materials and orders. You deprive them all this. You deprive them of their food and daily this. You deprive them of medication. We all know even paracetamol, you have to pay for that. Literally, it's just someone walking and existing without being paid. How many of them would survive 5 months without getting paid? You see the lack of empathy for them to say, oh, it's only some. We don't know how many. A single farmer should not, money should not be held for more than 24 hours. Should not. As they give their produce, they should be paid. Imagine how many events. We had Ramadan. We all know how, difficult it is during Ramadan. Prices go up. And most people might not even realize. Prices are more expensive in the provinces where many people are farmers than in the rural, in the urban area. And we're all crying out in the urban area for prices going up in Ramadan. What do you think the prices will be? Still, this government cannot think of policies that will make it equivalent so that people will not be paying different prices for different areas. Yes, it can be done. You can restructure your taxes to make sure any product that comes through the port of Banjul can be the same price in Basse and Banjul. Because if you change the tax quoting system, then those shopkeepers cannot justify increasing their goods because of the transportation cost. But that will come for a government that cares. And these people that will come in very divisive, saying that all the Fajara people, pipeline people, and so on. 99% of Gambians are from rural communities. 99% of Gambians, 100% in fact of Gambians in government are from rural communities. We are the one inflicting things to ourselves. That's why I said stop this divisiveness. That's what they want. Just imagine, Ramadan came without their money. Imagine, some of them might have, their wives might have babies. Some of them might have been sick. Where do they get the money to do all this? Even the stress of thinking that you owe me my money and I need it, I cannot access it because of what? You think individually, if it was an individual loan owe them and keep them in this, you think they will not go up and confront them? Why are they not confronting them? Because they are not organized as a group. Because a single person cannot confront the state. That's why I'm asking to be organized. And I'll get to that point. Imagine, Korete. These are days, for many families, for many, not some, for many families, these are days that they would have a very satisfactory meal. You deprive them that. Now we're talking about Tobaski. You still owe them money. But your government can turn around to buy 100 vehicles overnight. Turn around to host parties and banquets and everything. How many banquets they hosted during this period? How many events they did things on from taxpayers' money? We are not saying to give charity to our farmers. We are saying to put dignity in their work. Give them what they deserve, what they have worked for. But as I said, that's why we need to organize. The opposition need to organize. Gambians will need to organize. Civil society need to organize more. Political parties should not hesitate to organize their supporters in any region, that they let them go and consult their supporters. Call out for a meeting, ask them if anyone is owed and other farmers to come and support the people owed. We should not be divisive here. You go to Mansaya. If 30 farmers are owed their money, there are 300 other farmers. Ask them to come and join the 30 and demand. Let them go to the appropriate authority in that region to confront them. Let that be done in Kerawan. Let that be done in every region. Announce it that it's going to happen on a Monday and see if this government would not pay. And that's the way we educate our farmers, our people, to show them you can be organized and you have the power and you put these people there and they should have to do things according to your interests, not their interests. Don't let them come back every December with the president to lie to you, to divide you into tribal lands and everything else. You see, just to cut out, move on to another thing. This is if they cannot pay for farmers. They cannot pay farmers' produce. Where is the agriculture development going to come? I'll tell you. It's suffering and everything. Now, they tell you, if you didn't pay farmers, how are you going to, and you said you're going to provide them tractors. You remember that those tractors, they said they're going to provide, that farmers are going to pay 25%. Government put on the other 25% to make it 50%. Then over time, the farmers will pay the 50%. Which farmers are they talking about? Do you know the farmers they're talking about? They are family members. You know the farmers they're talking about? The middlemen they created. Those middlemen with the mental slavery mentality, those are the people that they're going to give these tractors, not the farmers. They will never organize the farmers for the farmers to be effective. Because if they organize the farmers will be effective in producing it. But that's not their interest. They want to keep the farmers in poverty so that they can always determine their destiny. And we know the destiny way they will determine. We know. The rainy season is coming. They are not talking about the fertilizer. They're going to, how many farmers are going to buy fertilizer? After your money is already been held by government, the time it comes, you have to pay back everything and you'll be penniless. You know who's going to buy the fertilizer? The same middlemen again will take the fertilizer and take it to Senegal and sell it. Seedlings and everything else. That's why agriculture is not developing. If it makes sense here. If the president takes a divisive politician or wannabe politician, he's not even a politician. It's an insult to call some people politicians. As a minister of agriculture who just came back from the United States under the cloud or allegations of impropriety in the United States, run back to the Gambia in ill-fitted suits. He was part of the GDC and he was used as a messenger for divide the Fullers and the Mandinkas along the country, along tribal lines, along party lines. That if you vote for Mama Kande, you are empowering a Mandinka party, UDP, and the UDP will expel you. These are the words he was saying. And you took that person and make you agriculture minister. Yes, that is what had happened. We were here. And we expect something to be different. And that's why anytime he have the mic, this is what he's going to say. He's always looking for something divisive. He will always look for something there. That's the only thing he has. When other countries are developing their country, this is what we are creating for ourselves. Now, the same thing is happening with the Hajj. Up to today, this morning, the government is they're just ignoring because of the problem is not operators. The problem is the government itself. The problem is Ahmad Bah and actually, the Minister of Transport, what's his name again? Silla. Silla invited a businessman from Saudi. They brought that businessman with Ahmad Bah. They created a monopoly, taking all the clients of the operators to say that they're going to centralize the Hajj. This is what they did. Even to evacuate our pilgrims, they went with a so-called a dodgy G1, I think Gawan, the company is called Gawan or G1, from Dubai, those dodgy companies in Dubai. You see, because wherever they see a pale skin, they have an inferiority complex. They went and make a deal to airlift. Instead of leaving the GIA with their device to contract the people they used to contract to airlift our passengers, our pilgrims. No. They went and made a deal in that again. Luckily, Air Senegal was at standby. That failed. Last minute, Air Senegal had to evacuate them. Obviously, agreement, contract, unpaid. I'm not saying free. But now our pilgrims will even suffer more because they will be the last to come back, because Air Senegal is going to airlift their passengers back again before. That's why our pilgrims went earlier than planned. Because Air Senegal have already planned the slot for when their pilgrims will go. Then they have to take our pilgrims early. And now coming back, their pilgrims will come back earlier than Gambian pilgrims. You know the cost involved in staying behind, which the suffering, we all talk about, the suffering is out there. But instead of doing something to mitigate these sufferings because of their old corruption and everything, no. For them, they are ordering benachin from private vendors and so on, but our people are suffering, having this, some Pakistani people feeding them leftovers. Heated over the day and stuff. Be fed like prisoners. Even prisoners are not fed like that. After some spending, actually, I thought 500,000. Some have even spent over 600. Over $500,000. Some paid over $500,000 because of what the monopoly. Ahmadba wanted a monopoly. How can you? What used to happen is every agent operator would walk out to, obviously they get their clients, they walk out to how they're gonna work with the how to call it, operator, other operators to airlift their this thing. They take care of their accommodation, take care of their welfare, feeding, and all those doctors and everything else, and give them the support them in the guide them through the routine and stuff like that. And the complaints were far lower. And then people could have been held accountable. But in order to make money out of this, Ahmadba created this, centralized unit. Now, these people will have their clients and hand over their clients. Now, Ahmadba and his people, what they would do, they provide accommodation, they provide the transport, they provide the feeding and the welfare, and everything else is what? It's not done well. Because of that's the way they make money. Everything is about them. Pilgrims are suffering. Audios are coming. Everything is coming. And they are ignoring it. Because they know that we are not organized. That's why we need to organize. And the other thing, let's remember about the cement. The cement. Last year, when we said that stop this, don't create a monopoly. Gambia does not produce cement. These people lied to us. Not lied to, because they were lying, and because of we are not organized. And some people started to be nationalistic. Oh yes, we should do this because of Senegalese. Because nonsense. When you depend on Senegal for everything, start with your state house. Start with your state house. Be independent. Be nationalistic with your state house. Start with basic things. You to produce something to eat. Now almost everything is imported from Senegal. It was the other way around during the First Republic. If something is cheaper to be brought from Senegal, why do you bring it from Turkey or India or Malta or somewhere else? So, yeah, because we don't produce cement. For God's sake, we said that. Yeah, because of the government patrons. Jar Oil and others wanted a monopoly. They wanted a monopoly. They created a loan facility for $50 million. They put it technically just to make sure Jar Oil access it in order to bank cement and to start the monopoly. That's what they did. They said that cement would be cheaper. They said that scarcity of cement would be history, which we never had scarcity after so many years, even during the COVID, because we could have transport cement from Senegal, no scarcity. They were doing it for their people, Jar Oil and others. Today, within a year, they have increased almost $90 on the price of cement, and cement is gone scarce. And I can tell you, when they resume again in bringing the cement, it's going to go up. Now the Tobaski. Look at the Tobaski. Look at the Tobaski. How much suffering? Civil servant and others. You see, this is where I'll tell you the comparisons. It's the effort. We are not saying the government can change everything. But what effort does government do? 8 good years. 8 good years. It's not getting better. We have the possibility to rear enough poultry, animal husbandry, and we can do that if you have a serious government that puts the effort, a serious government. There are so many policies you can bring about. Direct the finances, the waste, and stop the waste and all those nonsense. The last time they gave 100 million to business people, they said about 10 or 13 businesses. Who did they give it to? From the central bank. Jar Oil, Mohammed Jar, and some others who are not, even Sol Fraser to import rice, a real estate guy, so many others. All of them are the president's men. 100 million. Then the other time, 50 million. They gave that entire 50 million from Badia Corporation to Jar Oil. Now they are proposing another 20 million to say that to help importation. That would have been almost 200 million if that was put in the production sector of feed and other things. You think changes will not come? How many Gambians have left the diaspora here and now are doing animal, caring and other things? Have you seen the government support? No. How many Gambians have retired in the internal civil service, now are running farms and others? Do you see them collaborating with these people? How many Gambians are trying to become farmers or do some young Gambians? Have you seen any programs of that? No. Because they want to maintain a status quo. That's why we're suffering. Just give you an example. The assets taken away from them. All the agriculture implements, be the tractors, be the water pumps, be everything else, who did they sell it to? Themselves. You see, that's why I say this is how dangerous these people are. If you look at the amount of Jalo, Bari, and all those things, you think, oh, they're giving it to the fullers. That's a lie. They're giving it to their family members. They give it to their family members. It's a cabal. Yes, I know that other people will look at it and see the Jalo, Bari, and other states will give it to the fullers. There's no fuller that represents the interests of all fullers. You can only represent the interests of your family and the greater Gambia if you are a good person. Because of every fuller is related to another tribe in the Gambia. Every fuller, I said. I'm not caveating or this, no. I said every one of us is related to other tribes. And that's a fact. Then if you select certain people, you are not doing it because of you want to redistribute the wealth. No, you want to keep the wealth within the people who are close to you. The people who are your patron, the people that give you kickbacks to build your generation wealth, you as a person. But the same person who give to your so-called fundraisers. We saw the fundraising. Go and look at the people who've been given. Because their members are so poor, as every Gambian is so poor, that they don't have the money to contribute. It's only Gambians in the opposition so poor that they will still, because of they believe in their leader or their party, they will give their dalasi to their party. But all this NPP, they are taken from our resources. our resources. Because of now, Mohammed Jah is into agriculture. Ahmadi Jah Oil is into agriculture. I mean, Ababakar Jawad is on the agriculture. The guy at Star TV. I forgot the guy from Angola or something. So many of them, and these are the people they're empowering. But our farmers are not suffering. And this is the comparison I'm going to do. Just a quick swift. Everything I talk about here. And one other thing. When they talk about new projects, they are running around building big hospitals and everything. You think that's going to change anything? No. The buildings are not the main problems. Equipments are not the main problem. The main problem is governance. Equipments will be spoiled. We're not able to maintain it because of, are we training technicians to maintain this? Or are we going to rely on technicians traveling from Dakar? Are we taking care of our doctors? Are we motivating our doctors? Are we motivating our nurses, healthcare workers? It's not only flashy buildings. It's easy to go and borrow money. It's easy to an entire borrow, even I will not say grant. There's nothing like grant. If World Bank give you money, they are not giving it to you for free. They are taking it somewhere else. It's easy to go and take the money, give it to a contractor, and they build a very mighty hospital. What's happening with our hospitals? Just published an article today from Salif Mane, who went to visit a family member. I think his sister died in this thing. He could not help it, but you have to write an article about the experience there. And so that's the experience. You go to Neman, you go to Senegal Hospital, you go to Royal Victor, Edward Francis Small Hospital. It's the same condition. Regardless of the rehabilitation they put in at Edward Francis Hospital, the care is poor. Medicine is non-existent. All the medicine existence are all pirated medication. Doctors are not being motivated. All doctors are moonlighting, and you cannot blame them. They will have to work somewhere else in order to make a living. You think building this new hospital, new roads, would change anything? People are suffering even more. For 8 years, people suffer more today than ever. Prices are going up. 2 years ago, the CFA was less than $500. Now people are talking about almost $700. That's how you understand where we are today. But just give you comparisons in everything we touch on here. When it comes to condition of farmers, the past government put in the effort. Within 10 months of coming to government, we all know how they came to government. We know they came out from prison to assume government. But within 10 months, all these 5 to 6, something like that, many regions in Senegal have factories that were processing groundnuts. All those factories under Macky Sall stopped. They were not operational anymore because of the corruption. Because Macky Sall was just going around Dakar building flashy projects. The African term for development. I forgot the name of the companies again. They used to process the ground. 10 months, all the factories have been put back to use. Senegal, at the time of groundnut trade, the Chinese, Indians used to come and buy everything and take it away. This time round, an embargo put that nothing will be sold until our factories have enough. The time they lift the embargo, there was no groundnut left. The factories have bought everything. Some of those factories employed over 1,000 people. Put it back to use, 1,000 people. Some of them. I think the one in Jurbel, the biggest one in Jurbel. Sonacos. That's just to say the difference here. 8 months, they impacted due to effort they put. They are not only buying the groundnut, but they are processing it, creating employment, putting more value into their currency, not importing certain things. The price of commodities, rice, oil, onion, potatoes, and others, and even other vegetables went down and are still down due to the intervention they did. Sugar down today due to the intervention they did. For 8 years, wheat prices are just going up. And we want to blame the world market price. These are the comparisons we should tell our people. Let them not lie to them about the world market price. There are other things you can do to intervene to bring prices down. And prices are going down. And these are the emergency measures they take. Now they are reclaiming thousands of hectares of land on agriculture. They put a person who is capable from the World Bank, who have served, who have got the expertise, understand the business in agriculture and everything else. Mabuba Jang, he's running around. He's running around making sure things are working. What about Gambia? These are the comparisons we're talking about. Many areas on accountability. Today, how many ministers of Macky Sall government are paying back the money they took from people, or they are taken to prison? And look, these are just measures they took, acting on the existing audit reports. Pastef did not do any, these are not audits they have done yet. The past audit reports 3, 4, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, that Macky Sall failed to act on because of he was implicated with his family members, just as Barrow and his family members. That's why Barrow would not act on any audit report. The Pastef government come within the year. Now they are acting on it. The so-called billionaires made overnight in Senegal now are paying. The First Lady is raising $2 billion. CFA, almost $2 million to put a bail on his brother. And these are only the audit reports that have been done under Macky Sall. Just imagine the audit reports that are going to come under Pastef. They're all going to be bankrupt, and all that money is going back to the people. The Senegalese government took an initiative to raise a sovereign wealth by taking loans from the people themselves, raising money from the people themselves, so that the profits would stay in Senegal, so that those people would be to try to create a middle class. That money they raised from taking, bringing in, taking the funds within the, Senegal in and outside of Senegal, is a great idea. You see, they don't wait for another international money, financial firm to jump in. They have money straight away that they can put into, to develop, create jobs and so on. Where is our men? Who would even trust? If this government does it, nobody will trust, and many people will not trust them. Because they tried with the so-called road they want to build along Denton Bridge. They came around. Who bothers about them? Who would give money to this corrupt government? When the Senegalese government did it, people oversubscribed. The money they are asking for, it went over because they have trust and confidence in the government. They know the benefits. Now, do you hear anything about the Hajj operations? Because it's done well. Do you hear anything about cement? Cement even is lower during this regime. Cement prices have gone down in Senegal during this regime. And now part of the corruption that was happening in Macky Sall government, when the so-called corrupt criminals went and built story buildings, not building them properly, now they are collapsing. And the last time they lied about, because of a homosexual stayed in one of the buildings in Almadi, that's why it collapsed. But in the holy city of Touba, the worst one have just happened, all because of corruption. no planning permission, or they can do whatever they want because of they are seen as the president's men. This is what is happening in our country. That's why we need to intervene. This Tobaski in Senegal, and these are as I said, these are temporal plans, because this is a government that's just been in 1 year. Because they don't only have a minister of youth and sports, no. They have a minister responsible for women, youths. And what intervention did they do this Tobaski? The ministry came out, not agency, in fact, an agency, sorry, came out with an strategy. Orphans, single parents, and the disadvantaged are given loan schemes so that they can afford to have their Tobaski. Whatever you think about it, it's the effort. But in the long term, they already put in strategies to, part of the money they raise is to stop the importation of these animals across the borders, so that they will have sufficient in their district. They are looking at the long term. You think if you can pay your farmers, can you look at anything long term? When we come to confiscated assets, hundreds or thousands of vehicles were confiscated when they came. Passive. Just 2 weeks ago, it was sold in the open, in the regions in Senegal, in Dakar, in other places, open. No if, no buts. It was sold openly, open with oxen, and people came and bought it. You didn't hear any noise about that. That's how it's done. Right now, 3 days, there was a 3 days opening that they were 3,000 homes. The new government have created 3,000 homes, and it was in the open for people, lower income earners, to go and access, to have the opportunity to own homes in different regions in Senegal. 3,000 homes as a start. And these are part of their policies. In 1 year, they are implementing these policies. How many homes did the Barrow government deliver in the 8 year? We all know how many homes Jawara government produced. Bakote Housing Estate, Kanefin Housing Estate. Just as even in Jamestan. Yes, James substandard, but they have them. What the last time Ahmad Ba lied, and we have to say the word is lying. We cannot sugarcoat that. He said how many houses they're going to build before December? That was last December. Not a single one built. How many houses a week? He said how many houses will be built a week? Because you see, that's how much they think of our people. They can lie openly, knowing that they lie, and knowing that nothing will come out of it. But billions of CFA, which is millions of dollars, have been cut in the expenditure budget of government. The government of Senegal have saved millions within the 4 quarters. Millions of dollars. From where? Overseas travel, from petrol, from all the expenditure that are not necessary. Millions of dollars. And now that's going to go to the productive sector. These are the things that we should do. That's why I say the opposition need to organize, the Gambian people need to organize, civil society need to organize. That's the only way. If not, this thing will continue and it's not sustainable. The things that happen in other countries cannot happen in ours. A government cannot continue to manipulate the political space thinking that they will survive. Having people lie about picking up youths from the beach side and putting T-shirts on them, say that, they're cross-carpeted from one party to the government party is a lie. If it was not good that youths are saying, our youths would not be dying in the high seas or in the desert. But if you have people, so-called educated people with slave mentality that can only feed themselves and their family don't have pride. They cannot even clothe themselves and their family from, walking properly. They have to lie and be, known as liars, and they are proud of that. It's because of that will let them to drive vehicles, that will let them to live in a house and stuff like that. And we let these people to be the people who control the narrative. That will say a lot about us. That's why let us be careful and not accept this narrative to go on. We can bring about change. If we care for our people, we should work harder and working together and bring about change. Tribalism is not our problem. Politicians are our problem that use the tribalism. You don't tell me you're having a problem with your cousins because they're Mandinkas or Fulas or Jolas or shareholders. We see the intermarried within Gambians are even going, yes, culturally, we knew culturally that, that's how human beings are. But as we evolve, intermarried even is higher. Go to any region in the Gambia, go to Nyamina, and see the composition of tribes in Nyamina and see the intermarried in Nyamina. Go to Basik, go anywhere else. This is where we need to concentrate and don't allow this distraction. The people advocating for this government are not honest, and they are only using divisive politics in order to achieve their achieve their aims and objectives, which is to for this middleman and slave mentality, just to live as the houseboy, and the other ones, the jar oils and others, the barrow and others and other ministers, they become the plantain owners. This is what they want. But we are not slaves, and we are not going to allow to be slaves. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good afternoon.